and thank you once again for tuning in to the Funny Business Podcast. We have a jam-packed episode for you today. It's going to be awesome. Mike, I wanted to start with this. What do you think of my t-shirt?
So if I read this correctly, it is the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers.
That is correct. So, this is kind of sports related, but I'm going to just go ahead and start it. So the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers, they're actually the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. They are a minor league baseball team in Wisconsin. So obviously minor league baseball season got canceled this year, so there's 160 teams that are struggling. So shout out to Zach Betkowski, one of my former coworkers that I worked with in minor league baseball. He had this really cool idea on LinkedIn where to support minor league baseball teams, there's 160 teams, all with great merchandise, great logos, great names, and some of them even do special promotions like the Udder Tuggers. So a good way to support teams right now is going on and buying some merchandise. This was a very affordable t-shirt, got here in a week, and it's just an awesome logo. So if there's a minor league baseball team that you like to support, or if there's just a team that you like their logo or you like their name, just go buy some merch, help them out right now.
I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean anything that you can do, whether it's gift cards at a restaurant or supporting online merchandise stores, like I think that's the perfect thing to support a business, and also support your small businesses too when you get the chance.
Yeah, and if you've never been to a minor league baseball game, the atmosphere is great. Teams put on a great show for everybody. It's a fun time.
Yeah, no, certainly. Hopefully next year we will certainly be heading off into some minor league games or even major league games, depending on how close you are to a certain ballpark. But we are just going to start today, Matt, with our entertainment topics for today. Matt, I'm going to start with a serious topic for today. I think both of us are, our podcast really puts, we attempt to put a smile on people's faces, and we try to make it lighthearted. And I think the both of us decided to do this podcast based on the fact that it was during COVID-19, still going of COVID-19. So just a nice getaway, just a nice, start to your, whether it's your Friday or middle of the week, end of the week, beginning of the week. Anytime's a good listen to our Funny Business Podcast. But another thing that people do is they watch television. We are getting some news about a sweetheart celebrity, but apparently may or may not be a sweetheart as much as we thought she was. For those who haven't guessed who it was already, it is Miss Ellen DeGeneres. There has been some story circulating that she may not be as nice as it is portrayed in her shows in particular. So pulling up an article from the New York Times that she is going under a lot of scrutiny right now, Matt, that there was a BuzzFeed article published reporting that former staff members said that they faced racism, fear, and intimidation at work. Those who were included in the article laid out most of the blame on the three executive producers, Ed Glavin, Mary Connolly, and Andy Lassner, who also, and Andy is very frequent in showing up during the show. And it's surprising because Ellen always says at the end, be kind to one another and, just doing nice things. I mean, supporting those who are teachers and supporting those who are first responders and literally supporting anybody that needs something. But it's kind of surprising that we're getting this speculation. But Matt, I want to hear your take. I'm not that surprised that she's getting this type of accusations and speculation.
So I actually read an article literally 8 months ago saying this exact same thing. So it's kind of funny how things come into the limelight at certain times. But I'm not... I don't know. I kind of the first time I read the article, even 8 months ago, I was surprised because she does do so much good on her show that it's sad to see that maybe she's not the same to her staff members. And like we've talked about on the show, it takes so many people and so much effort to produce a good show. It doesn't just take Ellen. It takes everybody behind the scenes. And if you're not happy at work, your production's going to hurt because of it. So it's kind of sad to see that not everybody was getting the respect that they should get and that they deserve.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, let's look at us, for example. Like, we both have to show up to do a podcast. We both have to record a podcast. I do most of the editing and scheduling the podcast. You do most of the social media, which, by the way, Matt has been doing a fantastic job posting on social media with his memes. Oh my gosh.
The memes are on fire. I found out how to make memes, and I'm not going to stop.
Dreams are turning into memes right now, especially for the Funny Business podcast. But, I think running into this situation, kind of a little bit more detail. Warner Brothers Television is investigating this because it's now becoming a hot topic. And, there's been some rumors going around that Ellen may step off as being the host. They're really looking at Ed Glavin, I believe, is the one of the 3 executive producers to be sent off or to be fired from this whole situation. We haven't necessarily gotten complete details yet because this is an ongoing story. But I think I just find it so... Okay, here's my reason why I don't find it so surprising. And this is just something that I'm going to be completely blunt about. You can't be happy 24/7. You cannot be kind 24/7. There's going to be a point in time of your life that you're going to come up and something is just going to completely piss you off. And you can't just say, oh, well, haha, that's fine. No, it's not going to be fine. And it's going to tick you off and you're going to be upset about it. So I understand why Ellen may not be there's influence amongst other individuals, but specifically Ellen. There was also something going on about Ellen was supposed to do a Today Show, and the producers, basically the executive producers, told the producers of the Today Show, no one can talk to Ellen, no one can ask questions, no one can ask pictures. You just sit there, interview her, and boom, you're done. She gets out and on to the next thing. I'm not surprised, and I think people are overreacting to the sense because we're all human. Ellen's not a superwoman. She's like us, but she has a television show.
So I agree with that to an extent. So obviously, yes, you're going to lash out at some people, and you can't be happy 24/7. It's just not possible. But there's so many employees that she's done this to. Like, it comes to a point where, like, maybe you lash out once or twice. It seems like this was like an everyday thing, which I understand you're going to have your moments during the day, but you can't just go, like, telling people not to talk to you. Or I even saw some of her guests complained about how she treated them or staff members, and that's kind of eye-opening because, like, she gets a lot of big-time guests on her show. On her show, she had a lot of listenership. So I do understand you're not going to be happy, but I was surprised at the amount of people that came out against her too, because a lot of times when a big celebrity, a lot of people don't say something. So I wonder what the breaking point really was for a lot of these people to actually come out and speak against her. That was really what struck me, was the amount of people, and that it actually got to a point where she actually might not be doing her show anymore, because I did see that she is trying to maybe step down.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to, I don't want to get too serious on the subject of matter, but Ellen has a reputation for being kind. And, if one person comes out and says, Ellen did this to me, you're going to have more people that are going to come out and saying you're a complete liar, and you're actually going to get, my apologies, I'm getting a little heated with this, knocking the mic over, which, by the way, wait until next week's show. I have to say, I'm not going to give too much away, but
it's going to be juicy.
I can't wait. No guest, but something else is up. Who knows? We may bring a guest. I don't know.
Something we said we were going to do, and
yes.
It's finally going to happen.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it. But back to what I was saying, and I completely lost my train of thought.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, I really did. Talking about...
You're talking about how if someone comes out, she was so kind that people were going to say you're wrong.
There's going to be more bullying and hate speech coming from the person that came out than more so of the, well, maybe Ellen did do that. And, not to really, I said, I don't want to make this as serious, but it's almost like sexual assault. Like, the victim comes out and says this, they're going to be hated more for the reason of coming out than the actual the accused. And like I said, that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's a serious issue, but it's similar to that.
I think you're right, because it does, people really start to take it serious when there was multiple people that do say it. So you're right. If one person would have come out and said this, probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere. But, we wouldn't be in the situation if staff members... Now, the one thing that I wonder is, like, is there certain staff members that she didn't do this to? Because it really kind of seems like no one's coming to her defense, at least not that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I think... again, I think, in my opinion, with celebrities, I think celebrities don't want to, I don't want to say make a statement, but I don't think celebrities want to back something up that they actually don't 100% know about the situation. Like, somebody can come out and say, Ellen's a nice person, she did this for me, she's called me, she's texted me every day. Okay, that's one person. But then you have those situations, like you said, like if it was one person, maybe it would be kind of shrugged off. But if it's multiple people, then it'd be an issue. That one person, again, anybody, human, any human would have that sense of, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day, or maybe they're just having an off day. But it's happening to multiple people. So I think people coming out and defending Ellen, I think that causes an issue, because they actually truly don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I meant like a staff member that would come out and defend her. Like, I haven't seen any of those, which kind of shows the severity of this whole situation in a sense.
And maybe it's a sense, like, again, maybe it's the fear of losing their job. Like, what if they don't want, maybe they're too afraid to say something in the reason of fear of losing their job. And sometimes that's what it boils down to, is just keeping your job.
Yeah, it is sad that sometimes, you're not allowed to speak your mind. But, I mean, I guess there's not really a bright side to this story, but I guess the bright side is maybe, people are going to be working in environments that are a little more healthy. Yeah.
And, I think I hate to pull a quote from Ellen, but, it's, you kind of have to be kind to one another. And as silly as that sounds, like, the world, God, I'm going to be cheesy. The world is going to be a better place if you're kind to one another. And you don't have to be all happy-go-lucky. You just have to respect people. And by doing that, you're going to make the world a happier place. You're not going to see these things in the news anymore. That's just it.
No, you're right. And especially when it comes to producing a show. I mean, even just the two of us, like, we love doing this every week because we have fun with each other. We'll be texting each other ideas at like 11 o'clock at night when we should be sleeping.
Granted, it's a little not stressful, but like, the considerable time frames and deadlines that we have to do, but we manage.
But it makes it easier because we're having fun with each other, and we are kind to, most of the time we're kind. When we're not roasting each other, we're kind to each other.
I was like, Matt, do you have the confession to make?
But again, if you like working with people, your job's going to be 10 times better, and it sucks that these people weren't able to have that.
Mm-hmm. So whatever happens, I don't think, Matt, we're going to be picking a side, but we just hope that it comes to a conclusion, and things are better in the workplace, and whatever action needs to be taken is going to be taken.
Absolutely. And hopefully, if there's something for Ellen to learn from this, hopefully she does become a better person through this whole thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sky's the limit. But speaking of sky's the limit, on to our next topic. I love that segue, Matt.
That was a perfect segue.
Little forced.
Did you plan that?
No.
Okay, that was smooth.
I literally planned it the last second before you finished your sentence.
That was smooth.
Anyway, let's jump into the segment. So another weird news story that we got for you today. We're going to fly. So we're in California. We're now going to fly back across to the East Coast. Yes.
Yes.
I'm bad at geography.
Yeah. You had it right. You're good. Keep going.
Good job. To Vermont. A crazy situation, and I'm just going to read the headline dead front, is Vermont farmer returns prosthetic leg that skydiver lost during jump. This is happening in West Addison, Vermont. This is on a Fox News headline here. A Vermont skydiver who lost his prosthetic leg during a jump has it back, thanks to a farmer who kept an eye out for it and spotted it in the soybean field. Double amputee Chris Macris of Hyde Park went for a jump Saturday at Vermont Skydiving Adventures in West Addison and lost one of his prosthetic legs after leaping from the plane. He literally said, "I think my adrenaline was so high and I was just so excited, I didn't realize I had lost it."
But, like, first of all, this is the most Vermont thing to happen of all time. You could, like, if you would have told me this headline without the state, it would have been like, yeah, it happened in Vermont. Here's my question. Like, would he have... Now, this is just me being stupid. Like, I don't want to sound inconsiderate. Would he have, like, felt it come off? Or does it depend, like, where... No, like, I'm asking, like, a serious question. Like,
I know, me too. I'm, like thinking about it seriously.
Like, if it was cut off at the knee, would he, like... Does he still have nerves there that he would feel it? Or did he just mean adrenaline that, like, he wasn't paying attention to his legs?
I think the safest answer I'm going to say, Matt, is the fact that you know how adrenaline runs through you and sometimes you don't feel a thing.
True.
Whether or not that situation... Listen, we're two idiots running a podcast. We know nothing about prosthetics.
Yep. I can barely say the word prosthetics without having to be like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I've met people that have had prosthetics, but I've could be a sour subject, could be one of those situations where they really don't want to talk about it. But adrenaline runs through you so much that no matter what the situation is, some people have. I was going to say take a bullet, but I don't know if that's actually true. But, some people have been punched and, like, they didn't feel a thing. And, all these crazy situations of, like, people lifting cars or all these things just based on true adrenaline. So the safest reply I can come up with is he probably, like he said, he had so much adrenaline, he didn't realize it came off. But, it's great to know that he actually was harnessed by an instructor. So he didn't go skydiving by himself.
No, he's like super lucky that he landed safe.
He landed safely. But then he put the word out on social media, and then Farmer Joe Marzalowski, saw the post, and before finding the prosthetic leg, it was undamaged. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. There was no breaks or anything like that. Completely undamaged prosthetic leg. But it's quite unusual. And luckily enough, like, he didn't run through it with any machinery or anything, like, because he said it's like, or God forbid, the combine sucked it up, it would have destroyed it. So it was almost nice that he was looking for it in, the fields, because I think that questions, has he found other stuff from skydivers?
He had to have. This can't be the first time. I mean, there's probably so many stuff he's run over. Like I don't know why you take a wallet, but I feel like something like a wallet falling down or like a shoe or something. There's probably so much stuff that's fallen. Mm-hmm. But he is very lucky that it didn't go through the combine, because like my first job was at like a compost authority.
Oh yeah, it was. I was like, wait, what? And I'm like,
I used to like clean like the grinder, and I did it like once because I didn't really do anything there. But it breaks very easily if there's like rocks and stuff in it. I want to go back to the social media post. Could you imagine you're scrolling through social media, reading Facebook, and you come across a post where I didn't see the post specifically. I don't know if it was like, awesome day going skydiving. By the way, if you see my leg, can you please return it? That had to be so awkward to write, and it had to be not funny, because like it's not a funny situation, because obviously he wants his leg, but it's a little humorous to come across Facebook and see that a guy lost his leg falling from the sky. Also, probably could have killed someone if it hit him in that.
Yeah. No, and the wise words of the character Fred from SpongeBob, my leg. But Matt, I kind of want to ask you, because I think not as crazy as a prosthetic leg. What's been the craziest thing you have found, or the weirdest situation you found something?
That's tough.
Do you want me to go first in case?
Yeah, you go first.
So
I have a story if I can't think of anything. But
yeah, so I was driving home my boss's daughter from work because it just didn't work out the way where my boss was able to pick up her daughter. So I was like, hey, I'll drive you home. Like, it's right next to the house. So I was driving, and not even 2 minutes into it, I saw something, a paper-like thing that was on my windshield. And I was like, what is that? So, of course, her name's Francesca. Francesca was looking, and I was trying to drive safe and look, and I'm like, it's a $10 bill. There was literally a $10 bill in my windshield. And, like, not, like, on, like, the windshield wiper, but, like, actually in where the grate, like, it kind of keeps the stuff. Yeah. Like, a $10 bill. There was a $10 bill. And I was like, it's not mine. Like, I didn't leave it there. And $10 right there. So that was good for a couple drinks at Tap the one night. So that was good.
That's insane. That's like some good luck right there.
Yeah.
I don't really have a story of what I found, but I was in Disney once. I was in third grade. You
found Walt Disney's head. Frozen.
No, that would have. I think I would have made the news for that. But we were on. I think it was the runaway wooden roller coaster.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was in with my dad. We were strapped in, and all of a sudden, his wallet falls out of his pocket and is sliding like out of the coaster. And I put my foot on, and I caught it with my foot as it's halfway out the roller coaster, and I had to hold my foot the whole way there until the roller coaster ended. So he almost lost his wallet on a roller coaster, but I saved it.
So I'm a hero. Wallet. It's not my wallet. Wow. I mean, it's a similar story because you're going on like an adrenaline ride.
He never would have found that.
No.
Or could have broken the roller coaster if he got stuck, which that just would have been epic.
That would have sucked. Well, if you ever see on Facebook that someone's missing a leg or something, try to be on the lookout for it if it's closer to your area. But on to the final topic for the entertainment business or entertainment biz for today. I gave Matt a quiz last week. Taylor Swift. Matt, you absolutely killed it.
Nailed it.
I've been getting a lot of DMs, Matt, of girls just being like, is he single?
No.
Is he...
That's false.
Can I go out on a date with him? I'm like, I don't know. Like, you'd have to talk to him first. I don't believe you.
Good old Ron Burgundy quote.
Oh, man. Ron Burgundy. But, Matt, I thought what we could do is come up with a dating profile for you, just in case you have people shooting you DMs. We'll win an Emmy one day. DMs, just in case ever comes along, you have a nice little profile to work with. So,
I mean, I guess I don't have anything to lose.
You really don't, man.
No.
You really don't. I mean, I would take this dating profile myself, but it'd be kind of weird.
That would get you in a little bit of trouble.
A little bit of trouble. I don't think a little bit of trouble, but it'd just be weird coming up with a dating profile when you're in a relationship. So.
It'd be awkward. That'd be an awkward conversation to have.
Akko Taco. So, Matt, we are going to use a dating profile generator to help you out in combining this thing. So, any questions or thoughts before we start?
Yeah, does this actually get put out there?
No.
Okay.
You can share it when it's done, but we won't do that. So
okay.
I have a list of about 500 people with their emails for people that want to date you. So
good. So I can get hacked again.
Yeah. We won't even go to that. That's a whole topic for next week. But Matt, we are going to start off. We did decide that we're going to do an earnest profile that we'd like to create. Yep. You are a man. I don't think we need to go into that detail. You are seeking for women.
Correct.
And you are currently single.
Unfortunately.
No, we're going to find you. We're going to find you one. It'll happen. So.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Give me 2 adjectives you might use to describe your physical characteristics.
Interesting.
I have a suggestion of greasy if you'd like to use that one.
I would like to decline. Very much decline. I'm going to go... So this is tough. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go toned because like I'm not ripped, but I'm not like
You are.
fat. So I feel like I'm pretty toned. Like
pretty
I have
toned.
some muscle in some area. And then I'm gonna go not that small because I'm not like I'm 5'9", so like it's not tall. It's not short.
Height.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Not that short, I guess, is the way
okay.
to put it.
So, long?
Not that short.
Not that short. Okay, not.
Because I'm kind of in between. I feel like if you're like 5'8" to 5'10", it's just like you're in the... what's the name of that? I can't think of the name. The Twilight Zone. Like, no one cares.
How about adequate height?
That'll work. That'll work.
All right, Matt. 3 adjectives you might use to describe your personality.
Personality. Okay. Let's go funny. I like to think I'm funny.
Okay.
I am part of the Funny Business Podcast.
You are? Yes, you
I'll
are,
go
sir.
friendly
Yes.
because I like to talk to people. And trustworthy, I feel like is a good... I feel like that's probably my strongest personality trait.
No, I agree. I love how I'm like, you're like
You're like hyping me up after every answer.
Hey, that's my whole purpose, man. I'm the hype
That's
man.
true.
Or the wingman, as they call it. So, all right, Matt. Which 2 parts of your body are you most happy with? And you can use plural if you want to, like
Okay,
a plural,
Okay, this is easy. I'm going to go with my eyes.
Okay.
I think I have nice blue eyes. And my calves. 'Cause I have very nice calves. I don't know if you've ever noticed. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my calves.
A little bit when we live together.
Yes.
Give me 2 hobbies of yours.
I'm just going to say sports because sport management major, worked in sports. I'm watching a basketball game right now as we speak. And I'm going to say
Getting caught in the rain.
no.
Okay.
I'm just going to say hanging with friends. If that's acceptable.
What is your job?
Oh, wow. This is interesting. Let's just say I work in sports.
How about a podcast host?
Yeah. You know what? Let's do that. Yeah, podcast host. That is technically my job right now.
What does your job help?
What do you mean, what does my job help?
So their example is children, members of the public.
So who does it help?
Yes.
The general public. Let's say, because my humor and sports knowledge blows everyone away.
What skills do you have?
Good listener, because I have to listen to be a good podcast host.
Yes.
And attentive, because you have to be very attentive to small details to find things to talk about.
Attentive? Am I saying? Yeah, okay. ATT.
How am I doing so far?
Good. What's your favorite place?
Ocean City, Maryland. That's easy. Go on vacay every year. I'm 24 years old. Am I 24 years old? 24 years old.
Am I 24?
I've been to Ocean City, Maryland every year of my life.
Sorry, I didn't ask you how old you are. How important is monogamy to you?
Extremely, if that's an option. Whatever the highest option is.
There's
very
not
works.
at all. There's not at all somewhat or very.
Yeah, let's go very.
Which do you prefer? Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Spider-Man, Harry Potter, Red Dwarf, or Monty Python?
All right, first of all, this isn't the answer, but Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, great book and a good movie.
Yeah.
That's tough because like everything on there was pretty good, but I'm gonna have to say Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I know you thought I was going Star Wars on that one.
I was thinking Monty Python, but
Mighty Python.
Side note, we were playing Fortnite the other night, and I was like, "You shall not pass," and I thought that was Harry Potter.
Yeah, that was not a good look. I was cracking up for like 5 minutes straight.
2 adjectives you would use to describe the physical characteristics of your ideal mate.
I'll say pretty. Does that make me sound shallow? And I'm going to say not that tall. Because, like, I'm, again, 5'9's an awkward height.
Adequately tall.
Sure.
2 positive adjectives you would use to describe the personality of your ideal mate.
Personality of my ideal mate. Let's go with... I'm going to say caring. You know, they got to care for one another and for other people. And smart. Because I actually like to have intelligent conversations with people sometimes. Even though I'm not that intelligent.
Which is your favorite part of a mate's body?
Eyes. I'm a big eyes guy.
Eyes guy.
Yeah.
Use an adjective to describe your ideal example of that body part. So, like, an adjective
So, like,
of
how
eyes.
I would describe eyes.
Yes.
Okay. This is... Let's go... Oh, I got a big word. Okay, ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mesmerizing.
Mesmerizing.
Don't ask me how to spell that.
Nope, I know how to spell it.
Okay, good.
And Google is here to help. Something your ideal partner is not afraid to do. An example is be honest.
I'm going to say... This was a tough one. I'm going to say try new things. Because lately I've been trying a lot of new things, whether it's food or movies or stuff like that.
Adventurous? Wait, or is that... Okay. Ready?
Yeah, adventurous. Adventurous works.
Up for an adventure.
That works too.
Hopefully this generator is not going to kill me. Something you think people should respect.
Like about me or people in this anything?
General.
I'm going to say honesty. Because sometimes I talk before I think, but it's actually what I feel.
Finally, who's the most... Well, it says finally. Who's the most famous celebrity you've ever met?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think when I was younger if I met anyone super famous. Well, I guess it would be Leslie David Baker, who, for those who don't know his real name, he played Stanley on The Office.
I was going to say, isn't that from The Office?
That was an awesome story. So, like, on the show, he's like a sassy guy.
Yeah.
And I was working at the time, and I was able to take a break to, like, go say hi to him. So I go upstairs, and he's just about to order dinner. And one guy's like, oh, we have, like, one more staff member that wants to meet you. And I go up and, like, say hi, and he turns to me, and he goes, oh, come on, Matthew, like, these people can't even do their jobs. Like, you got to step in for your picture. And he just sassed me like he did in his show, and I was like, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say hi. But I got a picture with him, so it was pretty cool.
All right.
But he was really nice guy.
Yeah. I feel like he should be. But give me a screen name.
Oh.
Jeter fan 1 2 3.
No, another Office quote. There's a great scene from The Office where Michael Scott's making a dating profile, and he goes, "I know the perfect screen name." Types it in, "Little Kid Lover," which is not what I'm going to go with. Screen name, I don't know. I was always bad at this. I don't
Matt
have
Speed.
any. Yes, Matt. Yeah,
Matt _
Screw it.
Speed.
Yes, that's just Matt _ Speed.
95, 96.
Sure.
All right. Write me a dating profile.
God, this is probably awful.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is why I'm single.
Ladies and gentlemen, drum the roll, please. All right. A dating profile for Matt Speed, 96.
That just sounds wrong.
Sincere man, hopes to forge open and honest relationship with women who respects honesty. Wind in words, we are only human, and the gods have fashioned us for love. That is our great glory and our great tragedy. Good day, ladies. I'm a friendly sort of gentleman who likes nothing more than sports with the right woman. The first thing people usually notice about me is my funny personality, closely following by my smashing eyes. I am not one of those fake people who pretends not to notice their own qualities. My eyes and calves are top-notch. These gems of honesty are just part of the friendly person I am. I work as a podcast host, helping members of the public. This allows me to exercise my skills. Good listener and attentive. I would like to tell you about the time I met Leslie David Baker, which is true, but it's important to me that you know I'm honest, so I'll save the wilder parts of my life for another time.
Interesting.
My life goals include...
Oh, no.
Fight a dragon.
What?
Become the best podcast host I can be, and help all the members of the public in the world. If you're the right woman for me, you'll be caring and smart. You won't be afraid to be up for an adventure, and will have a healthy respect for honesty. My ideal date would involve hanging with my friends in Ocean City, Maryland, with an adequately tall woman by my side. While we're there, I compliment your mesmerizing eyes. Honesty and openness are the most important qualities in a relationship. I will be honest with you, if you will be honest with me. I will never hit on your best friend while you're visiting a sick relative. Never text my ex behind your back while you fall asleep. Never post naked photos of you on Facebook.
That's a fact.
That's just the kind of gentleman I am.
It's true. It's 100%.
When you play the game of love, you win or you die. I urge you, get in touch. Matt Speed 96.
So when did you type in dragon and didn't tell me?
Where
did that come from?
I think it was from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Wow, I am gonna publish.
That
this
was a
baby.
roller coaster.
That was wow.
That was the first. Read the opening sentence of that again.
A sincere man hopes to forge an open and honest relationship with women who respects honesty.
That is a hell of a line. Jeez.
I'm just gonna copy and paste this and then just give it to
I already got 3 DMs just right now.
Wow, would you look at that?
That was fast. Wow, good job, Mike.
We will throw this on our social media if you're interested in doing a dating profile generator. I feel like this is top notch. So
screenshot us what your profile says.
Yes, screenshot your profile, and hopefully we'll share it amongst the show. You can DM us if you aren't a little afraid to do so. So, good luck with your dating, Matt. I'm always here for you, man. But Godspeed. When we come back, Matt's got his sports topics for today. Don't go anywhere. Matt, I got to tell you, I am so happy we're continuing to make more episodes for our podcast.
You're so right, Mike. I really am enjoying hearing how awesome each episode is every week from everyone. It's so easy to do.
It is so easy. And we have Anchor, our sponsor for this episode, to thank for. Anchor is free to anyone that wants to start a podcast. It's easy for beginners with the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also helps distribute our podcasts so our listeners can tune in to their platform of choice, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more.
And Mike, I got to tell you, I was skeptical before, but we actually are making a profit off this podcast. We are still a small podcast, but it's nice to see the progress we have made with each episode with that money.
Yes, we are making it rain. Kind of. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm.
And who knows, you may start a podcast with your best friend.
That's right. Roommates for life. Now back to the podcast.
Okay, let's slide into the sports segments for today. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you see me looking, I'm a Suns fan. The Suns are on right now. They're winning right now, and the game will be close to the end, so I guarantee they're going to blow this.
So you're saying you want to be the best podcast host you can be, and yet you're not paying attention to the whole
I'm paying
show.
attention, but let's just see if I can have a meltdown during the show.
Matt,
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Matt, you never said you were good at multitasking your dating profile.
I'm very good at multitasking.
You're a liar.
That to the dating profile.
I don't believe
Speaking of basketball, so we're going to do sports segments a little different from going on. So I'm not really just going to pick two, because now that sports are back, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're just going to fit whatever we want to talk about in the time frame. So to start off real quick, Lakers clinched the number 1 seed in the West last night, which made Skip Bayless trend on Twitter today. I don't know if you saw this, because back in July, he said Lakers would be at best the 6th seed. Oh. He said on paper, they look better with Anthony Davis. Skip,
Wow.
I think every team would be better with Anthony Davis, not just on paper.
Maybe a little.
So it's always great when Skip Bayless is trending on Twitter because he is the king of hot takes.
Yes.
I feel like him and Max Kellerman is making a close second. Let's start off with golf. So first major of the year is this week, the PGA Championship. But we're gonna go and talk about Bryson DeChambeau, who has been in the news for some not altercations, but some problems he's had with rules officials the last few weeks. So 2 weeks ago, he hit his ball out of bounds over a fence, which means he was not able to play it. Well, he brought a rules official over and wanted to hop the fence to hit his ball. And the rules official told him he couldn't because it was over the fence and it was out of bounds. And he was very upset. He asked for another official to come over who told him the same thing, and he lost. Well, last week he played in the FedEx St. Jude Challenge, I believe is the name of it. It was a great tournament. Really good finish on Sunday. But on Thursday, he hit his ball in the woods, and he wanted a drop without a penalty because there was a colony of red fire ants by his ball, and he said it was dangerous. He did not win that, and he was very mad. Called the second rules official over for the second week in a row, and he lost. This guy just hit the ball. Listen, I hit my ball into the woods every time I golf. I don't go looking for ants to say, oh, I need a free drop. Like, just hit the ball. You're a professional golfer. Like, he came back after the break, got absolutely jacked. He's hitting like 370-yard bombs off the tee. I think he actually drove from like 425 earlier this year. Like, just shut up and hit. You're a professional golfer. Like, don't worry about the ants. You swing the club and you're walking. Like, shut up. I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
That's the thesis. You see, Matt, what I found very surprising was this past weekend I watched a little bit of golf, and I don't watch golf that much unless it's like at a bar or something like that, and there's literally nothing else to watch. I didn't know you could actually bring on officials. Like, I never knew it until I actually started watching, and it was something like, oh, well, can I just do a drop without a penalty? Because I feel like something was going on. I don't remember who the player was, but it was like at the very edge of like the pond, and like obviously you can't not stand in the pond, but like
yeah, you can.
I mean, yeah, you can, but like it was just an uneven, like standing on the grass in the pond, like it was on the very edge of that pond, and like I think the official official came in because it was just like a very awkward like position and like fear.
Yeah,
of it,
different courses can actually have like different rules, and like their out of bounds is different on certain holes and stuff like that. So usually they do have like USGA rule officials, but they also have like people that work for the course that work it too.
Yeah. But as far as Bryson getting upset over fire ants, I can understand why. I wish I saw where the ball was hit. If it was directly next to the colony, I'd say, yeah, I'd have a problem with that. But Matt, you're shaking your head. It does not seem like that was the case.
It was like, I'm not saying it was far from the ball, but his ball was nowhere near it. He was just mad that he hit it in the woods.
Yeah, I think it just, the closer you get to the colony, the worse it's going to get. And what are you going to face? 1 or 2 fire ants? Like, it's not as bad as getting a whole colony at you. Not that I've ever experienced fire ants in my life, but
I haven't either.
I can understand that 1 or 2 is not going to kill you, or 1 or 2 is not going to hurt you that bad.
I agree. It was also funny because the next day, Brooks Koepka, who is probably my favorite golfer right now because he's just a cool dude, he hit his ball into the woods and was pretending like, oh, I need to drop. There's fire ants over here. And the rules official started to come over. He's like, nah, I'm just joking, dude.
No.
Brooks is just like an awesome guy.
Listen, they get paid a pretty penny to officiate a golf tournament, so.
They do. They do.
More than us.
Moving on, let's talk some hockey. So hockey came back on Saturday. It's a 2014 playoff. It is awesome. And there's no better way to start hockey with the first game. Not even 3 minutes into the first game, there was a fist fight. You cannot stop these hockey guys. Listen, no coronavirus. Nothing is going to stop these guys from playing hockey. And when they play hockey, they're going to hit each other. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
That's it. No, I'm kidding.
Here's my other thing. Why don't we watch hockey more?
I love hockey. I freaking love
too.
hockey. Like, especially like the minor league team that's local in my area. Like, that's a dude. Listen, when you get your girl for your date for your dating profile, like,
Yes.
that's literally the best place to go is to a hockey game. Like, Jenna and I went on our first date to a hockey game, like our first official date as boyfriend girlfriend to a hockey game, and it was amazing. Like, it was a good time. You know, it was great. I mean, our home team lost, but then the following year we went again, literally almost the same day, almost same weekend that we went, but it was also an alumni event that I was hosting. So it was like kind of cool. We expanded a little bit more. We got our first official picture as a couple in the grandstands, as you call it, or like the arena seats.
Right.
This year's picture was actually on the ice, so it was like a nice upgrade. So I don't know what the heck else I'm gonna do. Maybe a box seat for all we know. So, but I think I feel like, no, I can't say it's rugby, but like the fact that hockey's somewhat challenging to understand because it happens so quickly. You know, like icing, for example. Like I had to ask when I was with some family members when I went to my very first hockey game, what the heck does that mean? What does icing mean? Or, you know, there's so many rules and so many things. Like, you have power plays and you have penalties, and like, I think it just happens so fast that it doesn't allow somebody to process it. Like baseball, there's replay, and then basketball, replay, football, soccer, so on and so. Well, soccer has no stoppage time, but hockey's just so quick that I think people just have a hard time understanding it, and then that becomes an issue as far as when they shouldn't watch it. But God forbid, man, literally the only sport that allows people to hit each other and like during the game, and then even a fist fight. That's the other thing. Why don't they allow them to do more fighting? Like,
I think it's
it's quality
it's just
control.
The day and the age that we live in, and you know, people can get hurt fist fighting. But I mean, it's kind of cool that like when it does happen, like they let them go for like 30 seconds. But like every year, I tell myself like, oh, like hockey's starting. I want to watch more hockey, and usually I watch the Flyers just because that's basically the only team that I can watch from where I live. And I'll watch
if you weren't, who would you want to watch?
Probably the Flyers, honestly. Yeah, I know I'm not a big Philly sports guy, but like I tried getting into the Penguins, and Crosby's a little bitch. But that's just something you learn watching hockey. But like I would watch a game or two here and there, and then I wouldn't. And then playoffs would come around. Playoff hockey is the best playoff sport in the world.
It's
like
intense.
there is nothing better than playoff hockey. The fans, like they fly on the ice like 10 times faster. It's awesome. But I also feel like once you watch a hockey game once or twice, like you can pretty much know most of the rules. Like there's gonna be stuff that happens once in a while you not know, but like they just don't show it on TV enough. Like ESPN does not show one hockey game a year. Fox Sports, CBS, like NBC's the only station that carries hockey, and I feel like if they would just like show, like if ESPN would show like 20 games a year of hockey, like people would get more involved and interested in it. Like it's such an awesome sport. Like I can't name 15 guys in hockey, but like I love watching the sport, and I just don't do it enough. I guess I'm mad at myself for not doing it, but I've been watching hockey like all weekend and all week because it's just playoff hockey's the best. Moving on. What is next on the list? Oh, yes. The New York Mets.
I was going to say, I was like, Matt, you told me about this before we started. You're like, I
have a big list. I just wanted to see what was going to be next. The New York Mets are the biggest mess in baseball. Probably, the Redskins were the biggest mess in sports. So this past weekend, they had a player, Yoenis Cespedes, on Sunday, did not show up to the game. Did not tell the team he was not coming. Just didn't show up.
Dennis Rodman.
They tried calling him. Well, at least Dennis Rodman, he's got an excuse to
Showed
go
up.
to Vegas for 48 hours. So they tried calling him. He did not answer. They send security to his hotel room. It was empty. He left. There was no trace of him. In the middle of the game, the Mets release a statement to the public saying that Cespedes did not show up to the game and their attempts to contact him have been unsuccessful. That's all the statement said. People were in a frenzy on Twitter thinking he was dead somewhere, where it turns out they later, like an hour or so later, Cespedes' agent called the GM of the Mets to tell him he's opting out of the season due to coronavirus concerns, which is fine. But you got to tell the team. You can't just not show up to a game and not tell the team. What are your? I have another thought on the Mets, but what are your thoughts on Cespedes?
The thought on the Mets is they're the worst New York team in
They're
baseball.
the worst New York team in sports. Well, the Jets also might be.
Yeah, I feel like you're right, Matt. Having the communication to the management and to the front office, I think, is sincerely important because it's technically a job. Like, you're getting paid.
It is his job.
You're
He's
getting
millions
paid
of dollars.
millions of dollars, getting paid to play baseball. Like, listen, if I had a contract for $1 million, I would show up. Like, give me my paycheck. If I didn't play, give me my paycheck. Whatever. Like, not saying I'm desperate for money, but that's just the scope of it. Like, could pay off my loan in just one fell swoop. But anyway, both. I'll pay mine and yours. How about that? And still have some money left over.
Deal.
If that ever happens. But I think with that, again, it's a job. Like, you need to notify your management. You need to notify your supervisor. I hate bringing work-related things in, but, like, yeah, it's
the decent thing to do.
Yeah.
Now let me go off on the Mets. You cannot release a statement middle of the game saying you don't know where your player is. Now, why this is an issue? Last year there was a player for the Angels, pitcher, R.I.P. Tyler Skaggs. Similar situation happened. They found him OD'd in his hotel room. So you can't just say, "Oh, we don't know where he is. He hasn't showed up. He won't answer our phone calls." You just made it sound like the guy was dead. How do you release a statement before you know what's going on? Like, that's how stupid could you be? I guess it's the Mets. Like, we should expect this from them. But you can't just say that. People legit or on Twitter like, "Oh my God, we think he's dead." What are you doing?
Yeah. I think Mets management is not really the most idolized management because they're still paying for a player that is not even active in the MLB for how long, Matt? Like more
Shout
than
out
10
Bobby
years?
Bonilla. Oh no, it's another like 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is still getting paid to this day because of their contract stipulations and all that, which
Yeah. They could have. So people don't know, Bobby Bonilla gets paid every year on the same day, like $1.24 million for the next. At the time they made the deal, it was like 30 some years. They could have paid him $10 million up front and cut it, but no, the Mets are stupid. Moving on. Oh well, let's stay in baseball. The Cardinals now have an outbreak of coronavirus. They have 7 players and 6 staff members, so they're up to 13 people total. And Rob Manfred remains their worst commissioner in sports. So he put out a statement on Friday or Saturday saying, he basically threatened the players saying, if you don't follow protocols, we're going to have to cancel the season. Which, okay, sure, that's fine. Then he released a statement on Saturday or Sunday saying, I'm not a quitter. There's no reason to quit baseball now. First of all, you can't throw your players under the bus like that. I understand maybe they're not following protocol. The Cardinals were caught going to a casino, but you can't throw them under the bus like that. Second of all, you are the commissioner of sports, of the league. He's the commissioner of baseball. There's no punishment if players break the rules. If you don't set a punishment for the players to break the rules, there's no incentive for them not to go out. So you can't say that the players have to do a better job of following protocol if you're not going to punish any of them for possibly jeopardizing the season. Set some rules, grow a pair, and give these players some punishment. They went out to a casino. Punish them. They shouldn't be allowed to play. Go ahead.
You okay?
I'm very heated. I knew this was going to happen. The Suns are blowing their game, by the way. It's not going well. This is just the downfall of the second half of this podcast.
It's the tragedy of Matt Summers in episode 16. The tragedy of Matt Summers. Did you ever hear the tragedy?
I just don't understand. Like, you can't not set rules and not give them punishments. Be like, oh, well, they're not following the rules. There's no incentive for them to.
Yeah, I think I made my statement last week about the fact of the matter is Rob just needs to grow a set and to just set regulations. I almost said David Stern. Adam Silver.
Yep.
No, yep, okay.
Yep.
Adam Silver.
Got it.
Did the right thing. Got everybody in a bubble. And look, we have basketball. And there has not been one case. There's not been one case of the right confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had one in a few weeks. When guys first started to arrive, they did, but since they've there, no.
Again, since they've been there, no cases. NHL, no cases.
0 in like 4,000 tests.
0, yep, 0 cases. MLB's the only active sport that is getting cases. That's poor lack of management, and I'm just going to leave that at there because I think you said enough.
I made a great TikTok today of why the MLB season is in jeopardy because there's teams traveling from state to state. You got teams having an outbreak. Players, not that I doubt, like, this isn't the players' fault, but, like, they were told not to high five, and I'm going to call out the Yankees. The Yankees are high-fiving every single day. Every play they're high-fiving.
Yeah.
If you're not supposed to do that, don't do that. But in reality, you're right. They could have done a bubble in Texas or New York, Arizona, Florida. It's very avoidable. And I meant to mention this last week. If you don't think this is going to happen in the NFL, because the NFL said they're not going to a bubble, football's screwed.
Yeah, we're screwed. Yeah. Can I guess the TikTok that you did?
Yes.
Did you do, if you do that, I'm going to do that. If you do that, I'm going to do that.
Oh, no, okay. It was the Parks and Rec one. It was like, all right, who broke it? Have you seen that one? Yeah. It was a good one. Go. I'm not going to plug my own TikTok. But,
yeah.
Last thing I wanted to two more things I want to talk about real quick. The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, bought the XFL for $15 million. Why didn't we try to buy the XFL?
Why didn't we?
I understand. No, so he bought it in a group. I feel like we could have contributed. We easily could have been a minority owner of the XFL. $15 million is cheap.
What do we contribute? $5?
We could have put in something. There had to be a minimum to get in. $15 million for a sports league. I understand they're new and they only had half a season, but they were pretty successful. Like, the stands were crowded. People were watching the games.
We should have offered our podcasting services.
We should have. We could have been the official podcast of the XFL.
Oh,
jeez. Would have been genius. But I'm excited because, like, the XFL rules are really cool. So I hope that comes back. The last football note I'm going to throw in, Odell Beckham Jr., who's kind of like a diva wide receiver, plays for the Browns. He did an interview with Wall Street Journal, I believe, saying that the season should not happen. And he kind of went into some things saying that the owners don't really see the players as humans and things like that. But now NFL players are given the option to opt out of the season, and he's not opting out, but he's still complaining that there's a season. So you don't want to have a season. You have an opt-out clause where you still keep your contract, you get paid, and you don't have to play, but you're not going to do that, but you're going to complain that there's a season anyway.
It's a straight up
makes
diva.
Total sense.
Diva. Complete diva.
That's the most Odell Beckham Jr. thing of all time. Stephen A. Smith actually went off on him today on First Take. It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yes. So that was a jam-packed sports segment. Update on the Suns. They're winning. This fourth quarter just started. So it is now time for Take It. So for Take It this week, we're going back to food. But it's not what you think. No, it's not what you think. It's not like pineapple on pizza. It's not like soft or crispy bacon. It's not. Let's just dive into it.
Okay.
What's better? You're going to love this one. What's better? Drunk food or hungover food?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't. This is not what you were expecting, was it?
No, I was not.
Two very good options. I will let you go first.
All right. I am going to choose my friend because all I can think about is when we used to go out, drunk food.
Yeah, I knew you were going to pick that.
Making the 2 a.m. or 1 a.m., depending on how late we were out, a run to Sheets. And oh my gosh, those mac and cheese bites, those buffalo chicken basket. Yep. I felt like I had mozzarella sticks at one point. Sticks. Oh my gosh, don't ever get the jalapeno.
Don't get the jalapenos at Sheets. Just don't do it. Save yourself some time and just pass it.
I feel like, and I feel like you might have the same argument as me in this upcoming thing. And you can get drunk food, and you can all just after gather around, if you want to hydrate, get some water, and just talk about the night. Like, because who knows? Maybe the next morning you'll completely forget about it. But just I recall so much more memories of us just sitting around the table having our food. And just the most random of things that came out of our mouths. I think it's more of the memory that I love more about drunk food than anything. But yeah, drunk food for the win.
So I disagree because drunk food makes you feel like shit. Of course you do.
Let's take it.
But like drunk food makes it doesn't help.
Okay.
Like if you're hungover, that first bite of like a breakfast sandwich in the morning when you're hungover is heavenly. Heavenly.
You have more of a risk factor of not being able to eat in the morning than you aren't being able to eat at night.
That's true, but like when you eat drunk food, it just lays in your stomach and you try to lay in bed and you just feel like shit. Now maybe that's the alcohol part. Like,
no, that's the jalapeno poppers.
No, but drunk food just doesn't sit well. Also, like I know you said sitting with your friends eating drunk food. That's something we didn't do a whole lot. We didn't like go out for like breakfast. We didn't go out for breakfast the day after. I've done that a few times. That is so much better than eating drunk food together. Is eating that sip of water when you go to a restaurant. The first sip of water at a restaurant the next morning is to die for. It is the best water you will ever have in your life is hangover water.
It's keeping you alive. Legitimately keeping you alive.
It legit keeps you alive. But then it's so funny to have like if you're talking at night, like having drunk food with your friends, yeah, you remember everything. But it's even more funny the next morning when you're like, hey, remember when this happened last night? And two people are like, nah, man, I really don't remember it. Like, that's funny. And then you get to basically tell people what they did at night that they don't remember. But the food itself, there's nothing better than like waking up. This isn't the good part, but like waking up, man, like, I feel like shit, got a headache. But you have food to look forward to help you get through the day.
I don't know. I think having that opportunity to, I don't know. I feel like drunk food is an opportunity for you if you are, I don't want to say if you're on a diet, but having that opportunity where your decisions are more influenced by your alcohol. Like you're allowed to have mac and cheese bites or you're allowed to have mozzarella sticks at 1 o'clock in the morning and no one's going to stop you, girlfriend. Like you just
true.
Do you. Like
that's true, but that's not better for your diet.
Who cares? Like it's just no, but having dude, I have a water anyway when I come home. Like it's always kind of like the routine. Like go out, drink a lot.
Yes,
drink a lot, come home.
Like having the water at night does help the next morning, but you're still gonna feel a little. And whether you have a headache, whether you have not, you still don't feel yourself. There's nothing better than the first sip of water when you're a little hungry. Nothing better.
I would rather take the opportunity to actually eat at night than the possibility of not eating in the morning. Because that one night during Halloween, the next morning, I barely could eat bread.
I remember. I was there.
You were there.
I don't know. I just feel like hangover foods, like it's heavenly. Like there's nothing better.
Do you
than
have
just
another
looking at your
word
food
beside-
that's being like no, because there's no better word than heavenly. Like you're just looking at your food, and sometimes you don't want to eat it, but in your head you're like, this is gonna make me feel so much better, and it's the best.
I feel like for the first time on the Funny Business podcast, I'm going to combine them and make them happy. Having drunk food at night with some of your best friends around the table, but then having either breakfast or, ready to hear this one?
I'm ready.
Thanksgiving Eve going out, and then the next morning just pigging out for Thanksgiving.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Counterpoint to hangover food?
No, it's not a counterpoint.
No,
it was a compliment.
I have a counterpoint to drunk. Okay, my counterpoint to drunk food. No, that was a great point.
Okay.
I've actually Thanksgiving Eve is like one of the best days to go out. But another point for hangover food: you go out for brunch, you get a mimosa with brunch. Nothing cures a hangover better than more alcohol.
You can take a shot of Jose Cuervo when you get home if you want.
No, but that's when you're still drunk. I'm talking about the next morning, going out, eating with a mimosa. It's the perfect hangover cure.
I think both of us are in the blurred lines right now of us not understanding how drunk we were that night versus how hungover we are in the morning.
That's the other thing. You might not remember drunk food. So, like, you could totally... You're saying drunk food is better. You might not remember doing it.
Do you remember our friend? I'll keep the anonymity to a low point. Remember
Ravioli?
our friend... Well, first ravioli. Our friend literally tried warming up Chef Boyardee ravioli for 20 minutes, and it should have been 2.
Love you, buddy.
In a microwave. I love you. I love you, kid.
buddy.
I love you, kid. But also on top of that, another friend, we went out for drunk food, and they got pizza. Weren't they lactose intolerant?
I don't remember this.
They didn't like pizza. There we go. Completely just absolutely hated pizza.
Yes.
They hated pizza, but yet they
That's
had
correct.
a slice at the local bar that also is a pizza
That's
shop.
correct. Yes, that is correct.
Ah, dude, 2 wonderful nights.
Food in general is awesome, but I would say hangover foods is like 1A, drunk foods like 1B.
Okay. I feel like if I have to highlight let's highlight because I don't know why we're highlighting this. What was your favorite drunk food memory and what was your favorite hungover food memory? I'll go first. My favorite drunk food memory was the night you came up for the first time. We went to Tap and then we came back. We were like, you want Domino's? Yeah, I'll get Domino's. We got Domino's. I think we got oh god, what was the breadsticks? We got the breadsticks, and then
The lava cakes.
we got the lava cake.
That was heavenly. We also almost went to Sheets at the same point.
We
too.
almost went to Sheets.
We almost double dipped. That was probably my favorite. The favorite hangover food story.
My favorite hangover food story was going out with Jenna on Thanksgiving Eve, and then having Thanksgiving with Jenna and her family.
That is the best hangover food of all time. It's
yeah.
Thanksgiving Day. You can't beat it. I was also famous once for not eating anything the next day but a communion wafer.
Jesus, take the wheel. No, Jesus, do your thing. That's what your tweet said.
Yeah. Mom's
A wise
proud.
man. A wise man.
Mom's proud.
Oh, man. All right, guys, that wraps up another edition of the Funny Business Podcast. Thank you so much for listening once again. Again, stay tuned for next week. We have something super special coming up. Tons of surprises, even surprises for Matt, which he doesn't even know what's coming.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, I ordered a bunch of... No, I'm just kidding.
There's gonna be so many activities.
Yeah,
next
so
week.
much room for activities. Matt's gonna, a lot of things happening. I almost gave
Yes.
it away.
Nope.
It's like a little hesitant, but make sure you follow us on our social media, Funny Business Entertainment on Facebook, Instagram, Funny Business Eon on Twitter, to see all the updates and happenings. We would recommend that you watch our YouTube episode for next week. Although maybe a double dip, you listen to the audio version first and then you watch our YouTube, because that's just kind of what we do. But
And if you want to see the T-shirt that I'm wearing, also go to the
Yes.
YouTube page.
Yes.
Wisconsin Auto Tuckers. Great shirt. This was actually last year's promotion. They sold out in like 2 days, so they're back in stock. It's a great logo too.
yeah, it's utterly
It's a
great.
cow. Utterly.
Yeah. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Catch us next week, next Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go to the poll, check to see what's your favorite drunk food or hungover food the next morning. And until next time, guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone.